Hello, my name is Bussin' Bear, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build this awesome looking couch in Recroom. This is an intermediate tutorial, which means this isn't made for beginners. If you are a beginner, I have a video where I go over all the beginning settings. It'll be in the top right of your screen right now if you want to watch it. Okay, so right here is the couch we're going to be building in today's video. We're going to have seats and all of that stuff on the couch to make it a very good looking couch for your dorm room or maps. So let's get right into building this. So we're going to need to pull your makerpen and then click on create, go to palette, and then in palette go to shapes, click on cube, then swatches, and have your color on leather and your material on wood grain. So now we can just start building this. So now go to tools and click on grid. Make sure your snapping is on grid because this is going to be very useful. So go down to ground level and just build somewhat of a flat square on the ground. Then make almost the same size, but make a tall square right around it. And we're going to click manipulate to make it so that this fits exactly with the square on the bottom. So it looks just like the one over there. So now I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to merge the shapes. And once they're merged, I'm going to clone this leg 4 times around. So once you have it cloned 4 times around, go back onto create, and we're going to be making a bridge to connect all 4 of the legs. So have this start about halfway on your leg, and then just make the bridge connecting to the other legs. So I'm just going to clone this because it makes it much quicker. So just build these bridges and make sure they line up good with the leg. So as you can see, the bridges start about halfway. So just match them all up. And just use your manipulation tool and just manipulate these cubes to perfectly be aligned. And make sure you are cloning these across so they look the exact same size and shape, and it makes it quicker. So now we're going to start on the actual couch. So we're going to go back to palette, go to swatches, and have your color on smoke or slate, either one. And then put it on carpet for the material. Then have your size at about like 500 or 600. Those are about the sizes that you want. So and then you're gonna click on create and make sure it's on cube. So create on cube. So now we're just gonna make a somewhat tall, like a somewhat high cloth area, and we're just gonna manipulate it, and we want this to be about halfway. So halfway of the frame. So as you can see, put it just halfway from the frame, and that looks good. So we're going to go into palette and have a cylinder out. So now with the cylinder, this is when our material is going to start, and just make somewhat of a flat and wide cylinder and move it onto the cloth. Now remember not to have it exactly on the edge because that's where we're going to have our armrest. So just don't place it there. And then we're going to clone this cylinder around 4 times. And just make sure it all matches up. Just clone it around 4 times, basically making a square shape. So just use the cylinder to make a square shape around. It's basically giving us our cloth pattern. So now if you have a really big square at the beginning, we're just going to want to manipulate it and make that square smaller. So as you can see, we're just making that square smaller to its about right there. We do not want that square to be absolutely massive. We want it to fit on the couch perfectly. So you can just make some of these things lower to the ground, the cylinders. Even of them phasing through the couch makes them look a little better and more natural. And so now we basically have it done, and we're just going to clone it. So now that we cloned it, we're going to line this up so that it fits the other half of the couch. And then we're just going to manipulate it so it just lines up with the frame of the couch again, because we need the area to have the armrest, just like that. So feel like that's looking pretty good, but there could be a fix on this line. So I'm just gonna merge these two side cylinders to make it so they look connected, just like that. So now those two like foam look connected and it looks a lot more even. So now I am just gonna select everything and just move it a little bit more to the side because it's not exactly centered. And now it is. So I am going to clone. I'm gonna clone the bottom and rotate it. And you're gonna have to turn off your snapping so you can get it just slightly on an angle. Because real couches, they don't have it exactly like straight up on a 90-degree angle. It's a little bit rotated. So we don't want it to be very high either, so I'm gonna make it a little bit shorter, just like that. And that looks pretty decent. Could make it a little bit farther on the back. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. And now we're just gonna clone it again and just line it up on this side. And we want to get kind of rid of that crack in the middle. Like it still has to be there, but just we don't need a massive crack. Sorry. And then we're just gonna clone only the foam part. So once you've cloned only the foam part, what you're gonna need to do is rotate it so it matches up with the back of the couch, as you can see. So just try and get it on the perfect angle so it matches with the back of the couch. Now what you could do here to make this faster instead of doing it this way is you can clone the bottom of the couch, the foam, and like the frame. So you don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but if you do it this way, it just makes it look much better. And that looks pretty lined up. And now we're gonna clone that one more time so we have it on the other side. So now we are gonna build the armrest. So click on cube and then make sure your snapping is on grid. Once it is on grid, we're just gonna draw out a cube right on that empty area. Then manipulate it so it lines up perfectly with the back of your couch and the bottom. So then we're just gonna clone it and bring it to the other side so it looks identical. And once you have done that, we are now going to use some cylinders. So make somewhat of a flat cylinder. And once you made somewhat of a flat cylinder, just rotate it around and bring it to the armrest of your couch and just place it on the top of your arm. Place it on the top of your armrest, just as you can see in the video. And then now we're gonna have to turn off our grid again and go on rotate. And we're just gonna rotate it slightly and then clone it. And once you have cloned it, we're gonna do the same thing, rotate it slightly, and then using the move, we're gonna merge it together. And now I'm just gonna try and mess around a little bit with it to try and make it look like more connected and better, but it doesn't really seem to be working. So right there, that looks good. And now I am just gonna clone that and bring it onto the other side. And there we go. That looks pretty good. And yeah, there we go. There's our couch. And we can just select everything and merge it all together now. And we have one big couch. And it looks very decent, I think. So as you can see, we cannot sit down on it yet. And if you want to do that, open up your makerpen, click on palette, and we're going to need a seat. So just search up seat in your palette. Now just place down the seats where you want players to sit. So we want someone to sit there and there, as this is a 2-person couch. So now you can sit down on it, but you see still this brown part. So if you don't want to see that, we're just going to configure the seat. And we're going to make it so visible only when gadgets are visible. And select that. Select it on both couches. And now if you drop your makerpen, you should see that the seats aren't visible, but you can sit down on the couch. And there we go. That is how we build this couch in Recroom. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and maybe watch one of my other tutorial videos. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.